Right, so this webinar is really to give our current customers an overview of the Maestro app functionality. We've had the app for a little while now. It just seems to be that not everybody seems to know about it, and we've also been adding functionality and modules to it, which people might also not be aware of necessarily. So we thought with the sort of upcoming pending release of our offline documents in the app, now would be a good time to remind our customers of what's currently already in the app, and of course what's to come as well. So first of all, let's talk about how to access it. So the app is not your typical app, I guess. So you wouldn't necessarily go to the App Store and download an app. So if you go to the App Store and search for Maestro, you'll probably find our legacy app, the Flight and Duty app, which is available for download. But this app is actually a progressive web app, which means it runs in a browser on your mobile device, any device, whether it's Android or Apple. And you actually don't need to go to the App Store to access it. I'm going to briefly tell you how to access it, and then by all means revisit this page, this link, which is in the meeting invitation, to read through the instructions again. So basically, you would launch your browser on your tablet or your phone, and from there you would go to the normal address of your Maestro site, for example, avinet.airmaestro.com, and then you just need to add /app to that URL. What you will then see is the login page, which is similar to this, and from there you can actually save this as an icon on your home screen or on your desktop. And from there on, it will look and behave like an app, and it will sit there on your home screen. So the instructions for doing that vary a little bit depending on whether you're using Android or iOS. But basically, there's some sort of a function within your browser that will let you save it to your home screen. And like I said, from there on, it'll look and behave like an app. So I'll just repeat where those instructions are. They are on our website, but I've also posted them in the meeting invitation, and I will put this link to this page in our meeting chat now as well. Okay, let's move on to the actual app itself. So as I said, you'll land on this page when you type in your usual Maestro URL plus the word /app. You're then presented with a login screen whereby you would enter your usual username and password for your Maestro login. You'll then be asked or prompted to create a PIN if it's the first time that you've used the app. That is because the app is made to work offline as well. And rather than sort of needing internet connectivity to poll back to the server to check your authentication, if you're online, it's just going to check this PIN and store it locally, and obviously make sure you are who you say you are. Okay, so after we have logged in and chosen a PIN, this is the first page that you're presented. It's my schedule. So it's very useful to display to you your roster and any tasks or flights that have been assigned to you from the scheduler, and also any scheduled recency. So you can see when you click your finger on any of these shifts, there's a little bit more information that pops up for you. I've just clicked on a rostered shift for myself. It's showing me the date, the time, the shift category, and the work practice. If I click up here on a flight that I've been allocated to, it gives me some more information there as well. So this is all read-only at this stage. We have big plans to add further modules and functionality into the app, of course, but we can't do that all at once. So this is the first sort of phase. And of course, we've got our scheduled recency here as well, which after you click on it will also show you more information. In the top right corner, you can adjust your time zone if you like, and you can also change your view. So you can switch to the week view, the day view, and also back again to the month view. You can go to a specific date and go to the current month, and of course flick between different months there as well. I'll just mention that we'll save questions until the end, just so that we can get through the content first in the time frame that we have. So the next step I'd like to show you is obviously the functionality that's within the app, which is the various modules that you see here. So just to reiterate, the current modules that are in the app are the My Schedule, which we've just seen. We also have the ability to lodge safety reports. You also have the ability to lodge electronic forms, check forms, and the most recent update is that you can now manage and conduct audits in the app as well. And we'll be going through all of these today. So the side menu here is just clicking on these three lines in the top left corner, and then we're going to click on Create. And the first module that was released in this app is our safety reporting module, which I'll demonstrate to you now. So obviously it's very handy if an incident has just happened, or you've just come across a hazard and you're out in the field somewhere, perhaps you don't even have internet connectivity, you'd like to just quickly report what's happened, maybe take a photograph of it, attach the photograph to your report and submit it. So let's go through the process of just submitting a very simple quality report, for example. So the fields that you see and the workflow in lodging a report is the same that you would in the standard web app. We don't miss any information, obviously, we don't skip over anything, but hopefully what you'll notice is that the user interface is much more user-friendly, much more intuitive and responsive. This has been built in newer technology than the standard Air Maestro program is. And this is the user interface that we will be headed to for the actual overall Air Maestro program as well. It's, as you'll see when we go through it, it's much quicker and more responsive. So I'll just go through and fill in the information that's required to lodge this report. We're going to enter the title of the safety report. I'll choose my risk level, and I will populate the description as well. You can see we have the tabs along the top here, so unless it's a mandatory tab, I can completely skip over it and go back and forth in between the different tabs. Previous and next, and the button at the bottom will take me back to the top of the page. If I need to pause for a second, perhaps, and I don't want to lose any information, I can just click Save, and I can come back to this and progress the submission at a later time. The Add File button, when I click on that on a device, it will give me a few options. It will allow me to choose a photograph from my library. It will allow me to take a photograph, or it will allow me to choose a file from my files on my device as well. The Review tab, again, as we would see in the actual Air Maestro site, will just display a summary of the information to you that you've completed. The green indicates that I've completed all required fields on, actually all fields on that tab. And then I can click Submit down the bottom here. When I click this button in a moment, you'll see a message pop up here, and it will tell me whether it has synchronized, directly submitted it back to the server. If I was offline, it would say that it's been put in the queue to be submitted at a later time, which is actually what's happened now. So because my session had expired in this tab, it's actually put it in the queue, and it will manage it and sync it back to the server when I've logged in correctly. So that's the process of safety report submission. I can see the ones that I have submitted in my queue, or ones that have been in progress, or ones that actually have been submitted from this app, from my device. If I log into another tablet, I will not see the ones that I've submitted previously. This is just a local copy of the items that I have already submitted on this device. And if I need to go back to any previous types of either reports or forms or check forms, I can go here and pick that up again and go back in. I'm going to switch over to the one. I will just pause for a second. Actually, let's take questions after each module. So does anybody have any questions so far? I will turn on the ability for you to hand up if you like, and you can also turn on your microphones. Yes, Jacko, hello, how are you?
Hi, Nina, very well, thanks. And yourself?
Good, thank you.
Good. Quick question. When you go into raising of a recurrence report, the setup and the tabs that's within that environment, will that replicate what we've got on our main system?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Now, I just wanted to make sure that that will absolutely reflect across. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, so when we click submit, obviously that report will then go into Maestro, and all of the usual notifications and such will have kicked off. So just as if someone would have lodged that safety report sitting in front of a laptop, the same would happen the instant that gets synced back to the server. So it's just like any other report submission. Okay, let's go back to create a form now. So electronic forms have a very wide usage across different sort of areas in our Maestro. The whole module came about from one of our long-term customers who's an aeromedical operator. They required a way of lodging mission details or patient details in our Maestro. So we built this module called Electronic Forms. For those of you who are not familiar with it, it basically lets you build your own sort of digitized version of any form by using our custom fields within our Maestro. There's a really wide range of usage. So obviously this clinical mission form, for example, is very detailed. A lot of in fact, all of the New Zealand aeromedical operators use it to track their patient statistics while in flight because they don't need internet connection to use this. And on the forms module, we also have an integration with Zoll health monitors. So the patient statistics can actually get pulled directly into these forms. So for any of our aeromedical operators who are interested in learning more information about that, please let me know, and I can put you in touch with the right person. But then, of course, we also have the ability to really create anything, shift swaps, requests, uniform orders, training requests, really anything that you currently do on a piece of paper or on a SharePoint file that needs to go to someone that's approved or declined can be done in our forms module. So I'll just show you a simple shift swap request form. So this was all built just through our custom fields. In this example, I'm going to ask to choose to swap my night duty to perhaps a day duty the next day because I'd like a sleep in. And I can add some supporting comments. Okay. And what we can do, obviously, for those of you who are not familiar with our forms module, is there's a whole workflow behind it where you can, depending on the type of form that's chosen, depending on the user's base and department, it can get sent to a particular person. There's a few options then. You can either just have it lodged and sit there and go back to it and look at it. You can have it be approved or rejected. And then there's other sort of notifications and workflows that come off that. or you can just have it electronically signed off. So you can have this go to someone, they've read it, they've actioned it, and they've signed it off. So what we're looking at here is just the submission side of it. And it's obviously up to you how you'd like to set up for each individual form example. And again, just like our safety reports, it goes directly back into Air Maestro, the full web app, and into the forms register, and will display as any other form would have. So we've covered safety reports and forms, and the last thing I want to show you in the forms area is our check forms. So when we were deciding on what module to do next, it obviously made sense thinking and speaking with our customers, what do you need to access while you're out and about or in the aircraft? And of course, a lot of check forms are actually conducted while you're in flight with a student or out and about with someone. So hence we moved on to the check form module next. So again, it looks exactly like it would if you were logging in to the Air Maestro website. And we have the same functionality available to us. So we have all of the controls available to us that we would have in the normal Air Maestro site. And we have the comment boxes, and we have that link to the recency or the currency achieved should that person successfully pass their check. Again, you can add files if you like, and you could submit the check form. Depending on how you've set up your check forms, whether they require sign-off or not, either that recency item will be instantly updated upon submission, or if you require those sign-offs, it will go and notify the people who need to sign off. Once they have, then the recency item will be updated. And of course, you have that permanent link with that recency check form in that profile forevermore. I'll just pause again to see if we have any questions on check forms or forms. Please raise your hand or just speak if you have any questions. Okay, so let's have a look now at the latest module that we've added. Oh, hello, Ty, you have a question? Oh, no, you just joined. Nice to see you, thanks. Okay, moving on, audits. So this was probably the, I guess, the most intense module that we've added because it's got the most functionality. So when you click on your audit option in the app, you have the same filters at the top that you can expand that you would have in the normal web app. You can filter on the status of your audits, the audit class, type, area, auditor, the dates, and so on, just as you could in the standard web app. And then if you need to refer to the legend, which is the status of your audits, you can pull that down there as well. So let's have a look for a fuel audit. This is an app fuel audit that I prepared earlier, and you can see by the color it is due. So I'm now going to progress through this audit. I've clicked on it to open it. It's going to pull down some information for me and pre-fill, obviously, any information that I did in the setup, such as criteria, scope, and objective. None of those are actually filled for this type, but I can also add to it now as well. So for audits, you can always sort of start them and do some of them while you're out and about, and then sort of save that progress and come back and finish the rest off in the office. It's very easy to do both of those items. So I'll click Start to kick off the audit. Then changes the status for me, and going up to the top here, you can see the checklist is now available to me, and I can go through the checklist as I would on the laptop or standard computer. These two are my shortcuts. I've chosen to click compliant on that one. I can click non-compliant on that one. And I can, of course, audit this checklist item and add more information, raise a finding and an action, and so on. And I'll do that here now. So by clicking on the audit button, it gives me some more information, some more areas to add more information. So I can add a comment. I can indicate the compliance status. I can add an attachment. Perhaps I'd like to take a photograph of something that's not right, or the issue that I found. I can type in my finding. I have the same functionality that I have on my standard Air Maestro site, whereas I can indicate if it's a repeat finding or not. This part, some of you may not have seen yet, but we now have the ability to add a finding owner if you want to add someone that's responsible for this particular finding. And of course, you can choose to add a risk level to a finding. That's a setting that you can turn on or off if you want to use that. So my findings being stated, and just as I can in the standard app, I can now raise an action and assign it to someone. So this will be assigned to this individual. Again, this is new functionality. You can choose to have manual due dates for actions, or you can choose to make use of automatic due dates, which are linked to finding priorities. So this new functionality is detailed in our release notes. And again, if you'd like more information on this, you can email myself or the help desk and we'll talk you through that. Right now, let's just leave this due date as manual, and we will set it to 2 weeks in the future. This is a request for a corrective action, and I will sign my cause category. I don't know the root cause at the moment, so I'm just going to tell this person what the action required is. Again, you have the ability to have a risk level on the action. You don't have to. And then I'm going to click update. And that has saved my finding and my action. And once I'm in internet connectivity, if I'm not now, that's when the notifications will get sent out after I click request comment. So I finished my checklist. I can add files. I can view current files that are on there. If you've already started this audit on your laptop and you're progressing it further on the app, you will be able to see all of the information that has already been put into the audit, including files, photographs, checklist items, findings, and so on. So that was the finding that I created on this step here. I can add more if they're not necessarily linked to a checklist. I can add an individual finding here as well. And then I can get to my summary. I can type in my large text information details under each of these headings if I want to. And I can also assign a risk level to this audit if I like. Then I click on request comments, and that's when the notifications get sent out for any actions that have been assigned to people. So that is the process of running an audit. Again, thinking of things, modules that our customers would use, not necessarily sitting at a desk. So of course, when you go to audit, do a hangar audit or an audit of an aircraft or something, you're likely to be walking around outside, probably with a tablet or a piece of paper, maybe these days more like a tablet, and you can be entering this information as you go. A lot of our customers actually used iAuditor prior to us having this functionality in our app. And the majority of those have now dropped that and moved over to Air Maestro because we have the same functionality now. So do we have any questions on audits? Okay. Well, the app is going to be a huge focus for us in terms of development next year. We have actually already finished the development work on offline documents. I don't unfortunately have any screenshots for you at this stage that I could share, but what offline documents encompasses is for a user themselves to be able to favorite some documents within our Maestro, and those will then appear in their app. And those will be made available to them even while they're offline. So it'll be automatically downloaded in the background for you in your app, available for you to reference even when you don't have internet connectivity. There will also be the ability for a document library admin user to nominate favorites for other people. So, for example, if you would like to have your safety manual or your operations manual available offline in the app for all of your users, you'll have the ability to favorite that for everyone. The next step for us in the first quarter of next year is something that's been a long time coming, and that is our flight and duty modules in this app. So as I mentioned at the start of the webinar, we do already have a flight and duty app. Let's not beat around the bush, it could be better. And it's been out for several years, probably about 6 or 7 years now. And unfortunately, it's only available on iOS devices. So the next thing that we are focusing on for the first quarter to deliver, hopefully by the first quarter of next year, is the flight and duty, so flight records and timesheets in this app. Moving on from that, we are just finishing up our roadmap plans for next year. We're going to have a view-only recency in the app as well, and we're going to have alerts in the app too. So we're trying to think of what a pilot needs to not have to sit down at a desk and log into Maestro. What are the main items that a pilot would need? And that's the first sort of persona that we're catering for. The next one will probably be a safety user, or safety-only user. So we already have the audits and the safety reports. We're going to add actions in there as well. So slowly, hopefully not too slowly, but progressively, we'll be adding more and more functionality to this app. And welcome any feedback, of course. You will hopefully have my email address now from this meeting invitation. If you would like to see something in particular, please let me know. And we also have our ideas portal, which we regularly check and use to build our roadmap for development as well. All right, well, thank you everybody for giving up half an hour of your lunchtime. As I said, this will be available for replay if you like. You can contact me or the help desk for a copy of the recording. Thank you again, and we will obviously be in touch when our new updates are out. Thank you everybody. Have a lovely Christmas. Bye.